Welcome back to the site. I'm Trent. Today we're going to be tying the Zug Bug. It's a classical nymph pattern, straightforward tie, and super effective. So sit back, enjoy yourself, and let's get into the tie. Alright, in the vise I have a TMC 5262 and I'm tying this in a size 10. But if you have any heavy wired 2X nymph hook would work for this. So I'm just going to throw down a thread base, touch and wraps. When you do this, if you hold that tag end out at a little bit of an angle, it causes all your thread to just kind of fall right into place and you get a nice thread base. Anyway, so I'm tying this in a size 10 because, well, it shows up a little easier on camera for you all to see. But generally, I always carry a couple in 10, and I tie it all the way down to about a size 14. And that, you can flip some rocks over and see what size critters you have in your streams, and you can tie it, you know, a little bigger, a little smaller as needed. So for the tail of this, I'm going to use, this is some fibers from a peacock sword. So I'm just pinching, holding it on the top of the shank of the hook, a couple loose wraps, make sure it's riding where I want it. And then I'm just going to bind all this down. I like the idea of doing it this way. It helps to build up that underbody. Now I'm not adding lead to this, any weight. The stream I'm going to be fishing, it's got some pretty shallow areas, so I want some unweighted nymphs for that water. But if you wanted to add lead wire, you just add it right after your thread. And or you could always put a bead on this too, I guess, if you really wanted to. So I'm going to flip it over and we'll put in the, well, let me clip off those curly cues there. Flip it over. I'm going to tie in, this is just some small oval tinsel silver. I've got it threaded out a little bit, so just tie that in underneath. And then I'm going to come back to right where that junction is, where the tail meets, well, will meet the body. Now for the body of this fly, it is all peacock herl. Excuse me. So I have my peacock herl here, and I'm just going to clip off these kind of brittle tips. Loose wrap. Just bind that down. Take it all the way up to where the head's going to be. Excuse me, got something in my throat today. Alright, so I'm going to come over the top and towards me. And I'm just making touching wraps as I move up the shank of the hook. Just like so. So I am a huge fan of these old Zug Bugs. In fact, my first brown trout I ever caught was on a Zug Bug, which pretty well sealed the deal for me that I always have a few Zug Bugs with me in my box. So we'll just clip off that excess. So I came over the top towards me. So now I'm going to take this oval tinsel and I'm going to counter wrap, which basically means I'm just wrapping it in the opposite direction. It does a couple things for this fly. One is it's going to give me my ribbing, and it's going to stay visible. If you go in the same direction as you did the peacock herl, it could fall down between the wraps and maybe be obscured. And it also, it's almost like giving body armor to your fly when you rib them. This peacock herl, it really helps to protect it. I'm just trying to clean off the head a little bit. So next thing we do is, I'm going to go ahead and put in the throat. So for the throat, a lot of these flies will say to use, if you look at the recipes, it'll tell you to use either a brown or maybe a furnace. Well, a good friend of mine went to an estate sale and got me a whole bunch of pheasant, or not pheasant, but partridge. So I am actually just using some of those partridge feathers for this throat. And I think they're kind of brown, they're kind of mottled. I think it'll turn out really well. So that's what I'm going to use. So let me just, oh, sorry, clip the camera there. Go ahead and tie that off. Just want to make sure I get a nice clean head. So the last step we're going to do on this fly, and I'm going to kind of rotate it so you can see, is we're going to put in the wing case for this fly. So what I do, how I tie these in, I'm going to come in over the top like so. So let me just show you the feather. I just kind of work the feather up. This is just part of a mallard breast feather, actually. But you could use a mallard flank. You could use any light colored duck feather you want for this application. So the instructions that I have says this wing case should be about 1/3 of the body length. So I'm just going to come in and clip it like so. And then I can whip finish, and this fly will be completed. Just a 3 or 4 turn whip finish. Come in, clip the thread, and just a little bit of a head cement on there. And there we have it. There is the Zug Bug. I encourage you all to tie it if you can. The materials are not terribly difficult to get a hold of, and it's a tremendously effective fly. So until next time, I'll see you around the vise.